I actually have to thank the governor for getting me on that list this year, so she made that happen. Before we bring in our guest speakers today, I want to talk about the Charleston incident for just a minute, since it kind of did impact us directly. Bad tragedy with the 9 people getting killed in the church last night. The young man responsible is from Columbia. He's been apprehended in Shelby, North Carolina. He lived Eastover area past Lower Richland High School. As they delve in his past, you're going to hear all the same things that you hear about a lot of these shooters. He was a loner, didn't have a lot of friends, he was disenfranchised with a lot of stuff. He was a racist. That was the whole point of him going down to that church and killing those 9 people, was his view on race. He wanted to get caught. This is his day of fame, as he wants to put it. It's just a terrible tragedy. You're going to see a lot about this in the next few days or so. But after he committed the crime last night in Charleston, he did come back to Columbia and then went on up toward North Carolina to Shelby, where he was caught. Again, you'll see a lot of people knew him. He went to public schools here. Last school he went to was White Knoll, but he also went to Han and Dreher. His family is pretty well-known family in the Lower Richland area, so you're going to see a lot. So it really impacts us a great deal with our legislators, since the pastor there was a senator and very well known. So but this just, I know Fred didn't do it, but in your prayers, just remember that families that's involved and all that, and also the families of the shooter. They're going through a lot right now because they had no clue what their son and grandson was all about and what he did. So, our speakers today are Arco and Kai. Arco and Kai brought their handlers along with them. So they're the shows, and they'll speak. Go ahead. They actually have a lot to say. Lieutenant Hoover's in charge of our K-9 unit. He's handling for Arco. Sergeant Cox is our trainer. Is responsible for training all of our dogs, and Kai is his dog. I'm not going to steal their show, but I'm going to let them talk. But if you would, let's do something a little bit different. Instead of holding your questions to the end as they're speaking, if you got a question, just raise your hand. Let's go ahead and get this. I want this to be very interactive. We've got 2 purposes today. That's one, to talk about our police dogs, what they do, how important they are, some of their training, where they come from. These are not local dogs, I will tell you, and they'll go into detail why they're not local dogs.
How long does it take you to get a dog bred?
All of our dogs go through a 15-week basic canine academy. That's basic. Now, some dogs are better, some dogs last a little bit longer. They're like people. Some are sharp, some are so sharp.
The key is not training the dog. The key, actually, the dogs are very smart and know what to do. The key is the dog has to train the partner, where the partner knows what the dog is saying. And that's one of the most difficult things, and that's what Sergeant Cox teaches, is the dog. The bonding of the dog and the person, where they can start communicating and they know what's going on. So that's the second reason, besides the training stuff, is we got a special event that's coming up, and they're going to talk about it. Vest for a deputy is around $450. A vest for a dog is about $2,500. Our dogs do have vests. Sadly to say, we have the only police dog ever being killed in the line of duty in South Carolina, and that was Fargo a couple of years ago. So we have basically bulletproof vests or protective vests for the dogs. In the summertime, we have cool vests. These dogs will work until they drop dead. So we have to watch them, and we have cool vests that they wear that keeps their insides cool. Those are very expensive too. We budget a good bit. We put a lot of money into these dogs. We have 17 dogs, including a poodle, which is a therapy dog. But we started a signature run that we do at the Village of Sand Hill a couple of years ago to just raise extra money to supplement what they do. And I'm going to let Kevin talk about that. Kevin's kind of been the one that run this show on that. It started off as a very small run, and now it's huge. It's a run done at night, which is very attractive to people in July when it's real hot. We have a huge turnout, and we do raise a good bit of money. So at this time, I'm going to let Arco and Kai take over the show and let them do it.
Thanks, Sheriff. Certainly. All of our dogs go home with us. One of the major components of a good canine team is a bond, and it's absolutely the best way is when you go home at night with your dog is your dog, and when you get home at night, you got to allow him to be a dog. So that bond, when we go home at night, he's with me and my family as long as so is all the other dogs. Yes, ma'am.
Provided they don't have an injury, at what point do they get retired and then what happens?
What we do is Arco is now 8 years old. September the 20th, he'll be 9 years old. So he's getting at that point where we got to start watching him. There's not per se a age. We just want to make sure they don't hurt. One of the main things we've been directed to do is don't let our dogs hurt. And when they start hurting, we want to make sure they can go to the doctor, make sure they say it's going to be hips, it's back, or whatever it may be. Let them go home and enjoy their life. And when they retire, we get them. We get to buy them for $1 when they retire, and we take them home, and they live the golden life then. Yes, sir.
What kind of dogs do you think you use, and what kind of traits do you look for?
Typically, we have 3 types on our team right now. We have the Belgian Malinois, which you see here, and we have a Dutch Shepherd, which it looks similar to what Kai looks like. Maybe it's got a little brindle color in it. And then we also have the German Shepherd. And we use those dogs not because other dogs are bad dogs, but these dogs are more agile. They're able to do things we want them to do. Jump over fences, go in places, go up in attics. When you get bigger dogs, he's big. When we get bigger dogs, it's a lot harder to get them up in the attic, and he's very agile for his size too. But you get some of the rots and things like that, they're a little more lumbersome, and they're not as agile as these dogs are. But one of the things that the sheriff's talking about, please.
We didn't want to wait. We had to say something.
But one of the things is we have lots of perks on the canine team. One of the not so good perks is I do a lot of canine demonstrations. And I walked into one, and a lady always comes to me and says, "Your dog is beautiful." She can't bring her in a room. She's going to need a microphone. "Your dog's beautiful." And I say to her, nobody ever says anything about the deputy. and then she looks me up and down and says, "You all right?" So I know where I'm at. So all right was a good place for me. But one thing, yes, ma'am.
How old are your children, and how do the dogs interact with the kids?
I want to tell y'all a secret, and we probably need to hold that here. I got 2 daughters that are teenagers. I got one's getting ready to go to college next year, and the other one's a sophomore in high school. But I also have 3 other dogs at home. I have 2 Chihuahuas. That would be our secret. And then I have a golden retriever that lives, and they all get along. Sometimes him and the golden retriever are just like brothers. They'll argue. There's no serious fights. They'll argue, fight, and they walk around with their hair stuck up for a few minutes, and then 5 minutes later they're playing again. So it's just like a human relationship. They get along just fine. But one of the things that we do here at the Sheriff's Department, we actually have 16 patrol working dogs and 1 poodle. The 16 dogs, we offer a unique service to the citizens of Richland. We have dogs on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The beauty of that is, I like to reference this as, a dog is kind of like a 4-wheel drive truck. You don't really care about it until you need it. So when you're stuck in the mud, what do you want? You want a 4-wheel drive truck. If someone is in your house and a bad guy's in your house, that's when you're going to want this guy to come in, because the beauty of these guys, we can vest them up like Kai's got her ballistic vest on right now. We can vest them up, and we can actually search your entire house without putting anybody in jeopardy, any deputies in jeopardy. These dogs can go in, we can search almost an entire house without putting he or I in danger one bit.
And to capitalize on that, just so you get a little bit of reference from our standpoint, this is the one tool in our arsenal, if you will, that can be recalled once it's deployed. So if you send the dog and an unsafe act or situation presents itself, an innocent person were to walk out, you did not want that bite to happen, all you have to do is call them back. That is the only weapon, if you will, that we have access to that you can do that with. Once you pull the trigger, that round is gone. Once you fire the taser, those probes are gone. But this dog can and will come back to you. It's actually part of our yearly certification. One of the amazing things that we can do with them that oftentimes people don't even realize.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have two questions. One, I'm just about black dog. Like me, he might, if he might be a little uncomfortable with that vest, kind of like I get tired of the tie his shoes. If he might be uncomfortable. And two, is he wanting to go do something?
Well, let's back up. Well,
The second question, yes, always.
we'll back up just a second so we don't hurt her feelings by saying him. No, to answer that question, it's probably not the most comfortable thing in the world, just like we don't find ours the most comfortable thing in the world. It is a necessity, however, just like we have the luxury of, they also do as well. It is custom cut and custom fit for that dog. It's actually embroidered with their name on the inside of it. So while it's probably not as comfortable as the pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt, or wearing nothing at all,
You mean the dog?
the dog, then it's still a level of comfort, and we have the level of comfort to understand that they're not uncomfortable. It does get hot, they do get tired, sometimes you will have to take it off and carry it yourself, but it's custom cut.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you get lucky enough to have a team?
Well, the biggest thing is to show interest. You know, like we have guys right now that are wanting to be on K9 team. I know 4 or 5 guys who want to be on the K9 team right now. But one of the things is we want, you know, it's really cool to have a dog. It's really cool to have that nice looking Tahoe. It's really cool to be here, but that's not why we want you here. You know, we want you to have a passion for this. We want you to have a passion to, number one, catch a bad guy, or catch not just a bad guy, but a missing person, or a mentally ill person walks away. We want that passion, you know, to come in to this job, because it's not just having a dog. You have to have that passion, but you also have to have that passion for wanting to do the service that you're asked to do. So that's one of the things. And we have a lot of guys who come out on their times off and volunteer. People want to come out and get in our bike suit. They want to run from us so that our dogs can track them. Because, you know, we don't only catch bad guys. You know, we do missing children, missing elderly, and missing mentally ill. We do all of the above. So we have to train all that. And to answer your question, they do that.
When he says guys, we have female canine handlers. Also, it's not just all guys. We have those, because I know I get chastised. Just like this morning, we had a lady this morning that was trying to commit suicide, and we had to go find her in Harvesting Forest.
Yeah, that's actually the dog right there that found her.
They found her before she was successful, so they actually saved her life. The dog found her and saved her life.
Absolutely.
Something the lieutenant said, and I want to piggyback on that as well. Most people in Richland County, guys, you enjoy a luxury that you probably didn't even know existed until this point in time. We are very fortunate to have leadership that does provide us with the opportunity to be successful, okay? We get what we need, and we get the quality of tools that we need to be beneficial to you guys in your time of need. And it's an amazing process when it happens and you actually watch it happen and it's successful. And it is a pleasure to be a part of that kind of organization. So I say that to let you know that it does not exist everywhere. It really does not. Here it does, and you are very, very lucky to have that.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the animals spayed and neutered, and how does that affect their emotions?
Sometimes they are. There's a debate in the veterinarian world about it diminishing drive in the males. We don't unless they are a medical reason for it. And then the ones we have had neutered, we spayed the females, but in the male dogs, we haven't seen any of that. But there's still that debate to diminish drive. You know, we have some dogs, if some of their drive was diminished, it would be okay. Yeah, really. But you know, you don't want to take that chance to diminish, you know, a drive. No, we looked into that, but then you have puppies, and then, you know, they did a study, 1 in 80 dogs has the drives to be a police dog. So out of a litter of 8 or 9, you may have 1 good dog. Then we're going to be responsible for finding responsible homes for them. We can't just give them to somebody, because you know how people treat dogs sometimes
So
nowadays.
tell where we get dogs and the process of how we get the dogs. Where the
Okay.
dogs come from.
This does not exist everywhere either. This was a long process that took many years to formulate. All of our dogs are hand-picked out of the KMPV program in the Netherlands. Okay? In the KMPV program, I'm not even going to attempt to mutilate the name, but basically what it is an organization that has been around since 1907 that certifies and guarantees quality of a candidate for police or military service. And it's a program that the Dutch have not only manufactured, I like to use the word invented, even though they didn't invent the dog, they invented the process that we use today. But they hand choose our dog. The man that does it, his name is Nick Westrick. He is a personal friend of ours. He is the former chief trainer for the Royal Dutch Police Canine Program. And he is also a board member and an executive of the KMPV program. Now, to give you a little bit of idea about why that is so important, we just talked about these guys having invented the process that we use. So we didn't need to reinvent the wheel, we just need to perfect it for our purposes. But having access to an organization that has not historically dealt with Americans, or anyone else for that matter. As a matter of fact, the ultimate, I don't want to say disgrace, that's not the word, cut down, what am I looking for, guys? Somebody help me. Insult, there you go. The ultimate insult to a Dutch dog handler is to tell them that you walk a dog like an American. So that gives you a little insight into how they normally or historically have felt. So to have these guys choose our dogs personally and guarantee that we get what they would normally reserve for themselves, that's an honor. That's an honor. And I was just in a conversation with them the other day. You know, they would like to eventually utilize us as a catalyst to bring the KMPV program to the United States. So it's amazing the process that they go through. But to talk a little bit about that process, it's a probably 6-week trial that they put these dogs through. They test them on site, they test them off site, they test them in every aspect that they can think of. High places, unsteady footing, dark places, tight places, loud places, gunfire, climbing things, walking down things, being carried, things that dogs normally don't like. So to shorten this a little bit for you, by the time they get to us, they've already been tested probably a minimum of 4 to 6 times. So we know the product that we're getting is going to be suitable, it's going to be great, and they're going to perform. And if they don't, they will move heaven and earth to make sure that we do get the right dog and are happy. As a matter of fact, Nick told me the other day on the telephone, he said, if I ever sent you the wrong product or a product that I refuse to honor in a guarantee, he said, I could never show my face in the United States again. So it's an incredible process that these animals go through, and a very expensive process that they sometimes pay for on their own, just to make sure that we get a great product, that we can then supply you guys with a great product.
Tell them how much.
The price? Typically, these dogs will run anywhere from $8,500 to $10,000, okay? When they come to us, they've been what's called imprint trained, meaning they've been tested and introduced to certain skill sets, okay, to meet suitability to be a police dog service candidate. So when they get here, Lieutenant Hoover said they go through a 15-week process with me, which is where we teach all of the odors, what to do when you find the odor. We refine all of the tracking, we refine all of the bite work, and all of the article search, okay? So by the time they're done with that, a department that doesn't have access to their own trainer pays oftentimes anywhere between $18,000 and $22,000. Okay?
I don't pay him that much.
But it goes back to, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And with the sheriff's blessing, I hope they drag me out of the canine office feet first one day, having gone doing what I love.
Unlike the dog, if the dog aches, he's got to go. But you ache, you don't have to.
Rule of thumb is 8 years. Rule of thumb is 8 years. We start the observation process, and then we look for the pain and things like that that Lieutenant Hoover was talking about.
You mentioned training them on odors.
Odors?
Are they all trained on all the odor sets, so to speak?
Either explosives or drugs.
He asked about training on odors. What are the different odors?
Yeah, what were the different odors, and are they all trained on all the odors? To boil that down a little bit for you, there are 2 types of dogs that we use, explosives and drug detection dogs. All drug detection dogs are trained on your marijuana, your hash, your cocaine base, ecstasy, meth, heroin, all of these things. We don't ever, in my case, my dog is an explosives dog. She already has to certify on a minimum of 24 different odors. And for legal reasons in the courts, we don't cross-train those 2 skill sets. If it's an explosives dog, it only works explosives.
Not to mention, if you alert on something, what is it?
Yeah. You know, what were you there looking for?
Right.
What did your dog do to tell you there was a difference between drugs and explosives? You know, there's a lot of legal repercussions you can encounter, so we don't ever cross-train that. Yes?
How did your explosives dog find the lady this morning?
Through human scent tracking. We found the car, and all I did was go get her, and I introduced her in what we call a 180, and I had her work a 180. She led us to the path. We worked our way down the path, and then I saw her head come up, and she actually smelled, that's a sign to me, we call it a proximity alert. The dog has alerted to the fact that there's a human being somewhere. She worked around a corner into a hedgerow. There was a large stand of briars, so I couldn't see the girl behind it, and she worked us around, and as soon as we got around, we knew what she was wearing when she left, and I saw those clothing, I saw the blue blanket that she was supposed to be in possession of, and I knew we had who we were looking for, and Lieutenant Hoover and I made contact. He went out and led the EMS guys in, and I stayed and just talked to her to make sure everything was okay.
Tell them the difference between all-purpose and single-purpose dog.
Okay, good point. Different levels of dog, okay? Most dogs that are full service have what is 5 different skill sets on them, okay? Meaning they perform 5 distinctly different purposes out in the field. Then there are limited service dogs, and then there are single purpose dogs. Single purpose, kind of self-explanatory, they do drugs, or they track, or they apprehend, but they only do that one thing. Limited service dogs are dogs that have typically around 3 different skill sets, okay? And then you have the full service dog, which does everything. They track, they either do drug or bomb, they do article search, they do area search, and they do apprehension.
I think they bite people.
Yes, they bite people, I'm sorry. Sometimes I get tied up with legalese.
Why are her legs shaking so bad?
These dogs have extreme levels of what we call drive. That is, she is so amped up to work all the time.
That's basically saying, please let me go do something.
They just sit there and shake. 12 hours in your car of riding around listening to all day long, pretty soon you get that way. So you look forward to going home, putting them in a kennel, and going to a separate room and doing something different.
Yes, sir. One of the things that I do is these guys, and Kai's gonna really see this. He knows this in my pocket. One of the things that I do at a lot of the demos is I ask a lot of kids. We do a lot of I do a lot with the sheriff at these schools for small kids. He reads a book, and I'm the surprise. It's about a police dog and a handler, and this is their paycheck. This is all they want, and Kai's probably going to go nuts when she sees this, but. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll go up to some children. I want people to see the other side of law enforcement. They always get to see the bad stuff. So if we can reach out to some of these children like we do, this is what I do. I ask them. I said, "How bad do you want this dog ball?" And I mean, it's obvious he wants it pretty bad, because he watches it everywhere. And then I'll ask the kids, "If I put it in his face, will he take it out of my hand?" And I'll say, "Raise your hand." And about half of them raise their hand. then I'll say, all right, put your hands down. And the next I'll say, who do you think's not going to take it out of my hand? Raise your hand. And I tell you, you can't raise your hand twice. So they all raise their hand, they don't want to be wrong. So I take it, and I put it in his face. I know he's not going to take it. I mean, that's the way he's been trained. I know he wants it real bad, but he knows he can't take it. And then I relate that to the children. I say, why didn't he take it? You know, he knows he's not supposed to, he knows whatever. But what I tell him, he didn't earn it. And then I relate that to their schoolwork, I relate that to the children. Do it just generally being good. And then I say, so now we got to make him earn it. So I got to make him do something. So he's doing stuff without me telling him. So I'll make him come to my side. And then I'll make him, I'll say that's not quite good enough, so I'll just make him. So I'll make him work for it. I told him to speak and she did. No. So now, yeah, I'll give you your ball later. And so basically now I can say he can have it and then I'll let him have it. And the kids absolutely go crazy for that. They think that's the best thing they ever seen. But if you think about it, if you remember when you were in school, I remember when I was in school and things like that came through, I've never forgot it. I've never forgot it. And if we can reach one of those kids by what we do in the schools, that's going to be absolutely awesome.
Tell what language the dogs speak.
Typically they speak Dutch, but when we speak it is Southern Dutch. So what happens is, it is funny because we have our friends from Netherlands come over and they make so much fun of us when we try to speak Dutch. But we also get it back because when they try to speak English, it's not too good either. But give it to me, close. So the thing is when we speak Dutch, it's not to, it's not to be mean or ugly. It's what the dogs know. When they come over here, they know Dutch. But it does hold a little secret for us. We can tell the dog to do something, and the bad guy has no clue what you're telling him to do. Hey, what are you telling that dog to do? Don't worry about it.
And people on the sidelines can't catcall and try to get the dog confused or distracted because most people don't just stand around knowing Dutch. It's not a common language. So it helps us in multiple ways.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for the dogs to exercise? Do you throw balls or frisbee or? I mean, it's like they need to run.
Generally, every handler does some sort of exercise, throwing ball. One of the good things in the summertime is swimming, because with her vest on right now, she couldn't actively track someone for probably about 30 to 45 minutes in 100-degree temperature. So you really got to watch these guys, because these guys, like the sheriff said, they won't quit. They won't stop. So you have to keep checking their capillary refill in their gums and their skin, and you just got to really keep checking them. But he and we jog, we hike. I take him on rucks with a big rucksack on. We take off and we go. But you got to watch him. Today's like today. I can't take him on this ruck. This pavement will tear his feet up. So, but we do exercise these guys.
Tell them about the cars. Know that car to quit and make sure.
In our cars, the kennels are specifically made for these guys. So our Tahoes have no back seats in them. So there was a reason for us Tahoe. It's a very good-looking police car, but there's also a reason we got it, because it's very user-friendly for this guy. Back door, put him in, a nice kennel. It's made for him. It's like rhino line, so you can wash it out. It's got a nice rubber mat that can be removed. One of the big things, the most important thing, it's got a heat alarm in it. And basically, it's got a setting on our car. We can set it at 87 or 92. And we all have ours set at 87 because we don't even want to go there when it's heats like this. So what happens, it gives you a 2-degree warning. When it gets 85, your siren bumps twice. So you hear bump, bump. And about that time, usually at our canine offices, and there's a radio shop right beside us who installs sirens. So every time we hear sirens, it's a rush out to your car to make sure it's okay. But if it gets to 87, you have a full alarm that goes off. Your siren goes off constantly. The windows go down, and it has a fan that comes on. So what it does is it's going to keep air moving through that dog ear line. It's going to allow you to get there to get your dog out of that car. It's a $200 investment. I mean, who wouldn't spend that money to save these dogs' lives?
And the lights and sirens love to come on at traffic lights when there's traffic around them.
This is a good middle question. We talk about cameras a lot, the body cams and stuff. We actually have cameras in the law that the dogs have on, so if they're tracking someone, actually you can see what's going on and record.
And it's remote. And
It's very expensive too, I
Yes.
got talked into that.
It's a 4-channel remote system, and up to, I believe it's half a mile, you can toggle between 4 different cameras with 4 different dogs and watch what's going on in 1080p, high definition, real time.
But you have to use some of that motion sickness medicine when you're watching it. But it's a great tool because you can see what's in rooms through walls and things.
It's incredible.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just kind of question or comment. I think they're a bar, and I assume you're not taking social security tax and workers' comp and all that. You're what a bar, and they are. But I'm wondering
Big
if
bed bills though.
we wouldn't
Yeah.
hurt somebody's feelings by looking like a menacing police officer. And of course, you know, Richland County, y'all got the coolest cars, you got some cool muscle cars, and you got the dogs and awesome looking officers, and you got that big, you know, like, what was it, that big old tank?
Right.
If you listen to the media, you know, you hear that maybe the Justice Department's trying to tell police departments what they can have and not have, so y'all are sweeter looking than you are with that dog beside you. Are y'all
They're
hearing?
always sweet looking, I mean, they can't be sweet looking.
Ask the old lady that told me.
Make sure y'all stay.
But what happened in the house this past weekend, I think answers the question about law enforcement needing equipment like that. The only reason they stopped out on the cars because they had a sniper on with a 50-hour rifle. We don't want to like to use that stuff, but we need it. We want to have it and not have to worry about it. So the only thing the federal government's stopping out is track vehicles. You can't get on this. Dog car that I got now, that y'all saw out here one time, it's got a track on it, but we didn't keep because the grandfather didn't, nobody else would get it. They stopped grenade launchers, I don't get grenade launchers. They started to stop, we're not even going to use it, so that's not going to be anything to impact us at all. As far as being soft, general time, looking, you know, we take these dogs to schools all the time, kids love them. And we do the same thing with our horses too. There are a lot of kids that never get opportunity pet a dog or see a horse and things like that. That breaks down lots of barriers. So we're addressing that softer kind of general thing in different ways.
And from the dogs. And from the dog standpoint, I think there are certain outlets that would have you believe we're just running around with hyenas that just want to eat people. But I could bring this dog out into the audience, take her off the leash, and I could go someplace else, and everybody in that room could just roll around on the ground and play with her. They're like a light switch, the proverbial light switch. You turn them on when you need them, and then you turn them off when you don't. It's just a dog again. It's just a highly trained tool that we use to keep you guys safe. Yes, sir.
When you're out on a mission, and whether it's hot, even when it's not hot, you carry water with you. These guys drink a lot of water.
Only on the 3rd Thursday of each month we give them water. No, we do. We're supplied with camelbacks. And not only is the water for us, but it's also for them.
I care about my deputies a lot. I care about my dogs more. They're going to take care of your dog. Nothing but happen.
He didn't have to say that. I already know all that.
We know it.
When we go like this morning, when we went out, that could potentially have been a long, drawn-out thing. And we're in the woods, and it's already 95 degrees. So we already had our camelbacks, and we have fold-up nylon water bowls that we stick in our pocket. And the beauty of having more than one dog on duty, say she tracks for 2 or 3 miles and she's tired, I go and get him, pick up where we left off, and he's fresh, and she's in the air conditioner. Yes, sir.
That real quick.
Yes, sir. If I could for just a second, I want to go over just the race, if I can, for just, I got 2 minutes, I got to hurry. A long time, this is going to be our 5th year doing it. We started it, and like the sheriff said, it was a small race. It ended up being 150 people. Between the first race and the second race, we had Fargo killed. And we didn't know this, but just by happenstance, we put Fargo's picture on the back of our first shirt. Of course, we didn't know anything was going to happen. The second race, the second year of that race, was after Fargo was killed. And from something bad, something good came out of it. And what happened was our race tripled in size because they wanted to support us. And from there on, Fargo's picture is on the back of that shirt regardless. And I'll get to this is our 5th year, okay? And this totally goes to our Sheriff's Foundation, and it goes straight to our canine. We use it to buy food, we use it to buy medical care, or anything that we need for the, or even a dog. It is going to be at night. It is a unique race. It's at night. And we got some, I know some people that work for a sheriff's department that can provide a lot of police cars for at night. So you're going to have a lot of blue lights out there. You're going to have our helicopter flying above. We're going to have, this year we're going to have a live band. And at the end, we're going to have a DJ. It's going to be a great family atmosphere for you guys to come out.
July 25th, starts at 10:30 p.m. Flyer on everybody's table too, for more information on it.
And you do not have to be a runner to participate. It is a run, walk, whatever you want to do, come out. Yes, sir.
This will take just a second. It's not a question, it's a comment. Based on where you live, today's society, you know, dictates how you guys view, you know, and not that positive light of getting to the first people that somebody calls when they need help. I hope I speak here about here when I say that we appreciate what you guys do to serve yourselves.
Thank you.